It's brand new, it's big, it's white, it's a work truck, and yeah, I'm driving it. It's super cool out here in Oregon. I'm going to give you the details of this new 2020 Chevy Heavy Duty 2500, and we're getting started right now. Hey, it's Tim Esterdahl, Pickup Truck Plus SUV Talk, and my passion is trucks and SUVs. If that's your passion too, hit subscribe below, hit bell notification to be notified of new videos I put out, like, well, this one, because you want to watch this one. It's going to be super cool. With my friend Jeff Zersmead. I keep working on that one. He's a local scribe from Oregon.
How you doing, Tim?
Good, how you doing, Jeff?
Never, ever better. Kicking ass here in the... can I say ass?
Oh, you
say
can. It's a family channel.
Okay.
Well, it's a little early this morning, so we're going to try to make sure that we keep our energy level up, because I slept pretty good last night. It was kind of nice in the cabin. Anyways, we need to get the point. The point is, this is a 2020 Chevy Heavy Duty. Oh, his buddy Scott fishing in the back. 2020 Chevy Heavy Duty is 2500. This is a 6.6 liter V8 engine in it with a 6-speed transmission, and I am speeding, so I'm going to slow down. I want to tell you 5 good things about it and 5 things that, well, maybe not so hot about it. But I thought before we get too much into driving impressions that we'd start with the exterior. I was sitting with the design team today at breakfast having a little conversation. He says to me, Jeff, that the exterior design is designed for an HD customer, and that customer wants a big, beefy-looking truck, and he wants to look different than 1500.
They certainly achieved that. The face on this is heavy. It's big. It's square. It looks like it weighs 10 tons at the front bumper.
Yeah, it's interesting. He made the point to me that actually they designed it with the idea a trailer was going to be on this truck at all time, like majority of the time. And they said that the truck looks better with a trailer on top of it, on it.
Well, a big trailer, the truck is big enough to not look like it's dwarfed by a big trailer. So if you've got an 8x20 Hallmark, 8x24 Pace American or something like that, it doesn't look like you're, towing it with a Tonka truck.
Yeah. So I'm gonna give you my. I like the good idea behind it, and so that's one of my goods. Is that I think they did a good job idea thinking about the customer with that mix, but I still not a fan
of the look.
Yeah, I just can't wrap my head around that one.
Well, I don't disagree with you. I think sometimes the looks grow on you over time a little bit, but my first hit was, wow, that's big and heavy and square.
Yep. It's almost like when the 1500 came out, nobody's talking about the Silverado look anymore. And that was big and controversial because this came out. And so, I don't know. We'll see how that goes.
But I think they did a good job and really, I think, nailed a customer value really well by making it visually distinct from the 1500. You've got one of these, you want to know that when you see it, 3 blocks away, that you're looking at an HD, not at just, well, is that just like the 1500? What do you got there? Right?
Yeah.
People who spend the money on these want to look distinct.
Yeah. All right. So let's talk about something else that kind of looks and function together.
Mm-hmm.
Let's talk about these mirrors. So these mirrors got a lot of controversy online. There's a lot of discussion points because now instead of being bolted on above the window, next to the window,
mm-hmm.
they're now bolted onto the door. And the idea is, with this lower kind of profile, they were able to drop this down. You can see over top of it. And here I am, driving first time in 2020 Heavy Duties. And they're right. You can see over top this mirror a lot better than you could in the past. I mean, that functional goal is met. But do you like the shape as they come out? They kind of have a weird kind of look.
I'm not real particular about mirrors. Especially in a heavy-duty truck. And I've done a ton of towing, race cars mostly. Stuff, but I do a lot of towing, and what I care about with the mirrors is how's the visibility. Am I able to see everything I need? What they look like, I don't really care. Also, they should be easy to either power out or hit out with your hand to accommodate towing, to really get the mirrors out there for towing.
Right.
So, for me, I think this is all a win. I think the new mirror is great. It's got plenty of real estate. You've got the fisheye down below to really help you with the blind spot. That's if you don't have the full camera system that comes on the fancy trucks.
Right.
So yeah, I call the mirrors a win.
Yeah, I think it's interesting. I think it goes like the same point. If you're an HD customer and you buy the truck for capability,
Yeah.
the mirrors are a win. If you're a guy who buys it for looks because you want to beef it up, take it to SEMA,
Right.
you know,
Yeah.
maybe you're not that customer. So it's an interesting viewpoint they took on that. So let's talk about this bed step. So the bed step's actually anchored into the bed, which to me, from a reliability standpoint, makes me a lot happier than saying it's bolted into the fenders. So you've driven a lot of heavy duty trucks. You've done a lot of towing.
All of them.
That's got to be. I'd like that feature. I mean,
love
it's awesome, right? Because it's always that place in the bed. Everything goes to the front of the bed. You never can get anything out of there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And especially when you reach the age I have, climbing into the bed is no longer a trivial thing. You know?
Right. So that's definitely a win. That's definitely a good thing. Let's talk about bed volumes. Another win too, right? Biggest volume in class.
Yeah, absolutely.
All more stuff in there. That's important for coolers and tools and such.
Oh, I was thinking loads of gravel.
Yeah,
You know.
yeah, loads of gravel. Yeah, the mulch, everything. You can fit more in here. And what's nice about it is the wheel wells are recessed out of the way too.
Yeah.
And so you have more width there.
More width between the wheel wells is really, I think, a more key measurement than total volume, because especially if you're loading boxes or anything that's not gravel or mulch, you can't really get into all the corners.
Right. Okay, let's come inside the cab. And I've discussed inside the cab different videos and things. The interior, they didn't do a lot. They've kept it kind of the same as at different interiors, but I think it's different, right? So we're in the work truck configuration.
Yeah.
I think in the high country configuration, I'm a little more picky, right? Because that's a different customer base.
It totally is.
But in this work truck configuration, it works. You know, it's very functional interior.
You know, and again, I'm coming at this from, I am an HD truck buyer, and I use them pretty much as the Chevy guys say they were intended to be used. You know, they're for working, they're for hauling gravel, they're for towing your race car or whatever you're towing behind you. You know, I'm one of those guys who knows the total combined weight of their trailer and car and everything else. And for me, the main issue is all the function there. I don't need wood trim. This gray sort of plastic, it's plastic, but it's gray. It's not offensive in any way. It gets the job done. The 7-inch screen here. Would I love a big 10-inch vertical screen? Sure, fine, that's great, but I don't need it. And when I go to spec a truck, I'm not going to pay for a big 10-inch screen. I'm not going to pay an extra $1,000 for that. This is going to be fine. It does CarPlay, it does Android Auto, it does all the things, and that's going to be more than adequate for me. Does it have AC? Yes, it does. Does it have cruise control? Yes, it does. Okay. Would I like adaptive cruise control? Sure. Am I going to pay for it? No. I'm buying this truck to do a job for me. And so from that perspective, I have zero complaints with the interior on this rig.
Yeah, I definitely think there's two viewpoints there. I think there are those customers that they want those features, that they're willing to pay for them, but there are those guys that do tow a lot that treat as heavy duty. So I think it's interesting, and I think you'll see the comments below this video will bear that out, where people will be on either side of the fence.
You know, bless their hearts. You want the semi-aniline, super nice, leather and the wood trim and all the rest of that stuff. That's great. Go to town. Spend the money, buy the stuff. Chevy will love you. You'll get a truck you really like. For me, I'm going to track mud into this thing. It's got, what do we got? We got rubber mats. I love that. I can hose this thing out. That's my point of view.
All right, so let's move along to ride quality, because that's always a big thing in heavy-duty trucks. And it used to be they rode like bricks, like literally. Hit anything, and it bottomed out. That's what it felt like in the cabin. We've been doing twisty roads, higher speeds, 60, 70, 45. I gotta say, it's pretty damn impressive.
It is. I'm super comfortable here. The ride is really smooth. It's solid without being too hard. And I think a lot of that comes down to the independent front suspension rather than using a solid front axle for four-wheel drive in this truck.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that makes a benefit, and they've always ridden nice. Chevy heavy-duty trucks have always ridden pretty nice. This ride's even better than I recall of the prior generation.
Yeah, it definitely does. It definitely does. Torsion bars for front springs really help with that, and the dual A-arm suspension. It's sort of like the Miata of heavy-duty trucks.
Right. And we don't even have to put stuff in the bed for it to ride nice.
Right, true. Yeah, it's running perfectly good empty.
Yeah. So let's finish this up. Let's talk about price, because that's always concerned, because prices are outrageous these days. But we're at $43,000. That's the sticker price, which is what nobody pays. But that's $43,000. This is 4-wheel drive. It's the crew cab, 6.5-foot bed with the 6.6 liter gas engine with a 6-speed. And we were talking earlier about this, that you could probably go 2-wheel drive, red cab, and be mid-30s, early 30s?
Low 30s, I would think. I haven't checked the pricing on this, but let me offer a point of view. I bought an F-250 2-wheel drive to tow my race car in the year 2000, and I spent about $28,000 on it, and that was for an XLT. It was mid-trim, white. It was really a truck designed for towing, and that was $28,000 in the year 2000. And so 19 years later, here we are, and you can still buy a truck with probably more towing capacity and definitely more features for mid-30s to 40. So that's, in terms of 20 years going by, that's not a lot of inflation on the price of a truck. So while the price looks high, I don't think it really is.
All right, now we're going to go ahead and tow 12,000 pounds, which is what I believe they said it was, in the 2020 Chevy Heavy Duty 2500 HD. So, out here by Mount Bachelor, doing up and down the kind of some forest roads. Nice pavement, though, so nice, smooth ride. I have the 6.6 liter gas, and it does pretty well. I mean, it's holding the speed I want to be at, getting off the line pretty decent. It's moving the cargo or the towing weight we have, no problem. I will say the brakes are a little soft to me, and I'm even in tow haul mode. The brakes are soft, which I think is interesting. That I was thinking back on the presentation, and the presentation they talked about how much they stiffened the rear axle, new 12-inch gear ring, new prop shaft, new U-joints, but they didn't say anything about the brakes. So that was interesting. But yeah, so I mean, it's fine. It's not as powerful offline as, say, the diesel's going to be. The ride quality, I'm not bucking a whole lot, and holds that speed pretty well. And so it's a confident towing, rig. I wouldn't say it's the greatest rig in the world as far as towing, but I wouldn't say it's bad. And I'd say it's probably improved a little bit over the prior generation, just with the new gas engine, with the new horsepower and torque, which I'll put down below, and overall towing prowess of the new U-joints and 12-inch ring gear. Yeah. I think that's the only thing I want to say. What else I remember?
You can definitely feel that the weight is back there, whether it's in the way the truck is riding, or the amount of effort it takes to put some throttle into it to get it moving. But overall, the truck is very competent at towing this, and I didn't check to see if we've got a weight distributing hitch, but my guess is we don't, that we're just hooked up on the ball, and that with a weight distributing system, it would probably be much smoother.
Yeah, there's our thoughts. Let's get back to more driving. All right, now we're going to flip around. Jeff's in the driver's seat, and I want to make sure I hit my 5 things. We're going to talk 5 good things and 5 not so good things about this 2020 Chevy Silverado Heavy Duty. Let's talk first. The best thing about this, and the surprising thing for all of us, is the ride quality. We talked about it a little bit earlier. The ride quality is fantastic in this. No argument there. Second thing on my list, and we'll see if Jeff agrees, I didn't even tell him this list, it's going to be a surprise to him, is I love the idea you can get the VIN-specific trailering label on the truck. You can walk up, open the door, and see exactly what your truck's going to tow and haul, yes, without having to go online and do this line and that line and wheelbase kind of bolt and figure out what you're going to tow. I think that's just fantastic. I'm a big fan of the side step. If you've been in my videos, you know that. The size 13 boot with 500 pounds of weight on that, I think that fits most males except for like a Sasquatch. I think it's pretty much covered.
I'm a size 13.
Yeah. Yeah. I do like that they did a lot of work on the no cutting for the snowplow. So you take the front fascia off, and you just hook your snowplow, and you don't have to cut up your truck at all. Which is always sad when you spend $40,000 or $50,000, whatever you're going to spend on a truck, or $30,000, whatever the case is going to be, and you have to cut it up right away. So I like that idea. And I just kind of said it. Go back to price. Yes, they're expensive, but inflation adjusted, they really aren't that much more expensive than they used to be. It's just that everybody sees the high country trim and goes, "Oh my God, it's $60,000." But this truck, the custom truck we're in, and the LT are really the heart of the market, and those prices haven't changed that much, considering how much more features you get.
True.
Yeah. All right. So let's go 5-bet. Well, not so good things. Let's do this. I think the interior is a miss. It's an old design. I think that I think they just lost the competitiveness in the interior. I know it works for HD customers.
I disagree, but I respect your opinion.
Right, but I think that they could have done something more to the interior. I'm not a big fan of the auto-locking rear differential. It's a G80 locker. I like the option to turn it on and off myself because in certain situations I want it, and I want to be able to control it. Up front and in the back, talk about this. We have one USB connector up front, and we have no USBs in the back. And so your work crew, with their phones, they can't plug them in back there on the USB. I think that's a miss. There's no cup holders as well back there for the work crew. So they're going to hold their bottles in their laps or whatever. I think that's a miss. Keyed ignition. We still got a key. It's 2019. Still got a key. Yeah, I think with all the stuff that GM went through with the keyed ignition recalls and bull, I think get rid of the key. Push button. Easier to hop in and out, press the button and go, and keep moving along rather than having a keyed ignition. And then the last thing, and this is kind of just a Timism, which is what these things normally are, is we still have the 7-inch screen up here, and I know it's a work truck trim, and guys don't cover these screens very much, but I think they do. I think you want a little bit more real estate there. It just feels like it's a little tiny. It's probably the way the design of this interior is, it just feels like it's a tinier screen than what it actually is.
Well, especially when Ram is offering that enormous, big vertical screen. Looks very luxurious.
Yeah.
It's if I was spending the money on a high country or something like that, I would kind of wonder why I didn't get a bigger screen.
I think this is fantastic. So if you have just this first video you watched, Jeff and I are going to ride around all day in different trucks, and we're going to have these counter viewpoints, which are going to be fantastic for either viewer. So grab some popcorn, pop a top, hit the play button, whatever. A whole playlist for you. You're going to love it. And you want to find more about it, make sure you find us on Pickup Truck Talk, which is pickuptrucktalk, 3words.com, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, Pickup Truck Talk. As always, thanks for watching. I'll see you down the road.